Wait, what did I just heard? Is there Wi-Fi in my earbuds? You guys just saw that. That's exactly how you feel when listening to hip-hop with it. If I switch the mode and it randomly hits me a hey or huh, I literally think there are ad-libs in the track. I really can't deal with these voice pumps. And to be honest, after using this earbud for a while, the sound quality isn't quite as insane as the internet hypes it up to be. But if you pass on them just because of that, you might actually be missing out on the best entry-level AI hi-fi earbud on the market right now. Let me tell you why. Alright, if I can't listen to hip-hop on this, playing anime tracks should be a safety bet, right? Well, it turns out I was wrong. I completely underestimated modern anime music. Take Model Zeus Panic from Review Starlight as an example. I honestly thought it would be sound like some basic, underground pop idol stuff, but it's actually this crazy mix of big bang jazz, cool jazz, and psychedelic indie music, all wrapped like a theatrical musical. You have got bass saxophone, violin, shallow organ, and electro piano, all playing at once. And the mixing between the instrument and the vocal is pretty much a 50-50 split. Logically, this means if your earbuds lack good detail resolution and instrument separation, you just completely miss out on that smooth conversational flow between the all different instruments. Oh, look at my word from Attack on Titan. It is an apocalyptic anthem that combines pipe organ, violin, marching band and a full choir. The high frequency of the choir harmonies are even pushed up so high in the mix that almost sound like a scream. The arrangement is brilliantly put together. However, the Pioneer drivers on the Space Travel 2 Ultra just don't have enough layers on the low and high frequency to handle it. Because of this technical limit, the whole track just ends up sounding super messy and loud. On top of that, you start to realize that anime music covers a massive range of genres. You can catch walking bass and fast-paced jazz in mixed notes. You can get Kapala and really unique percussion sound in Sound of the Raindrop. And in Sincerity, you can hear this incredible pure, beautiful blend of an old and vocals that perfectly capture in the feeling of missing someone. So, realistically, expanding a $30 pair of earbuds like the Space Travel 2 Ultra to handle these complex anime soundtracks is asking a little bit too much. Based on its hardware, its wide soundstage and bright up-close vocal, stand-up pop music, or tracks with simple beat structure. When you listen to music that it heavily focuses on just the vocal, it actually performs really well. But this is another huge upside to this earbud, is that Moondrop's software tuning. Moondrop is one of the top 3 big hi-fi audio brands in China, alongside Rode Salsa and Gemini. Because of that, their online tuning community is packed. People are constantly uploading and sharing their own customer EQ hotline, and it updates all the time. Plus, the visual DSP tuning system in their apps is highly professional, making it a super fun playground for their audio files. And if you know nothing about EQ, that is totally fine. They actually include an AI tuning feature where the wife lives in your earbuds. Yuki guides you through the whole process step by step. Let me break down exactly how this AI tuning works for you. Because the bass on this earbud actually isn't that great. When you listen to R&B, the vocals sound good, but the groove just isn't quite there. Plus, the signal in the high frequency is a little bit harsh. Normally, you would have to mess around with the bass or the sub-bass to get more bounce, while making sure it doesn't get too muddy or boomy. Then, you have to try adjusting the highs to fix that harshness. If you don't really know how to EQ, you can spend a lot of time to tweak it and still not be happy with the song. But Moondrop gives you an AI waifu. You can literally just ask her directly, help me set up the best EQ for R&B artists like Caesar. You will sing a thing for a second, and then she just drops an exclusive Caesar R&B's EQ for you. You can see she actually analyzed Caesar's chill, breathy vibe, her vocal runs, and the bass. Based on the logical breakdown, she bumped up the mid-lows and added more air around 3 kHz. I didn't even tell her that the high frequency was a bit harsh and uncomfortable for me when listening to Caesar, but she somehow went ahead and smoothed out the crazy high end anyway. You guys can take a listen to the before and after. The difference is actually super obvious. On top of that, you can look at the EQ curve and the state to see exactly what she changed and the clear reasoning behind how she did it. After that, I gave her a more specific prompt. I told her I want to hear more instruments in my world, like the pipe organ and violin, and that I needed better instrument separation and bass response. She actually analyzed the earbuds' original hardware specs and calculated how the instruments are supposed to sound. She even figured out that the vocals and strings are blending into each other, which is exactly what I told you guys earlier, but never actually mentioned it to her. Plus, she clearly breaks down exactly how she adjusts every single frequency band and the reason why. You guys can check out the before and after for this one too. I also did a quick comparison between the EQ made by Gemini and one from Moondrop. Because Moondrop always have more data on their own hardware, their tuning obviously sound better. You can hear the comparison for yourself. At the end of the day, tweaking the EQ like this is essentially just changing the electrical signal going into the earbuds. You can't magically fix a major physical flat like the weak bass that is still completely limited by the actual driver inside. But for $30, have this level of EQ customization to play around with, honestly, I'm totally satisfied with that. So, if you are also really into music, but you are just starting out and don't know how to tweak the EQ or mess with those settings, the $30 Moondrop Space Travel 2 Ultra is obviously your best choice for the entry-level hi-fi earbud. There's so much you can play around with when it comes to EQ. There are also tons of other features I didn't even get to talk about. For example, it has a bunch of famous built-in EQ curve, plus reference curve from other Moondrop products, including their IEM. If you are interested, you can definitely take your time and explore all of that. Also, the sound quality of the Space Travel 2 Ultra is actually pretty solid for the $30 price point. Of course, as long as you don't need a crazy amount of bass, they're completely fine for daily use. Alright, that is pretty much for this video. If you found this is helpful, don't forget to subscribe my channel. Anyway, I'm Ring. Let's see you in the next one. Bye bye.